Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Standing Bear Thunderheart, aka Bear, and I am here to talk to you about my version of the parasitic behavior Bear Story Part 1. Just to let you know, and Rainbow Heart Freedom Eagle, aka Rainbow, did a tremendous job in describing the parasitic behavior. So rather than me really repeating myself on this, I'm just going to go on and let you know about my own versions and my own ways of how I look at parasitic behavior. And one of the key things that I learned from being around people like that is that you have to change yourself too. Because if you're around people like that, then obviously there has to be something within yourself that is probably either parasitic, or whether it's to power hungry, or want to bully people yourself, or your insecurities. You have to really look at yourself, with all that. In other words, people are basically a reflection of who you are, or they call it feedback. So you have to be able to well and look at the feedback. And one of the feedbacks that I've actually looked at when I was freeing myself from that was, I used to be around drug dealers many years ago. And the reason why I was around drug dealers, well, I had a lot of reasons. But, of course, you have to see it in my book, Standing Bear and Rainbow Heart Speak of Everyday Empowerment. But so I had my reasons why I hung around drug dealers, and of course they had reasons why they hung around with me. Now, fortunately, of course, I had enough sense to eventually leave them. And because the only reason why I was leaving them was because I was just spinning my wheels. It wasn't doing me any good anymore to be around them. I ran its course. So to make a longer story short, I ran into some teachers that were into shamanic and mystical healing, magic, various other forms of occult arts that I was interested in, and I was always interested in. So of course I went for it, and after I left them, they wanted me back, the drug dealers and everything. They begged for me and everything, and I just no. I decided to just do something else. So of course I had teachers though. Now not all of them were bad actually. There were a couple of them that actually helped me out, and so any of those teachers, any teacher that actually wants you to do well enough that either wants you to be on either his or her level or surpasses him or her, any of those kind of teachers that want you to surpass them, those are the teachers you want to have, as far as anything that's mystical, or if it's just financial, or any kind of mentorship that you need for any kind of field that you're into. Now, if you have teachers, though, that take you under the wing, but let's just say, right? And yet, as soon as you start progressing along, and then they want to all of a sudden hold you back, or all of a sudden they know everything more than you do, then you have to start looking at, what's really going on here. What is the teacher's intention really then? What is your intention? What are you going to willing to do about it to move yourself forward as well? And so unfortunately, of course, these teachers all taught me a lesson. Don't get me wrong. They all taught me a great deal of lesson here that I needed to learn. And so, but one of the teachers that I actually got hooked up with, he, let's just say, was a shaman from Trinidad, a very big brother. And let's just say that he was pretty strong on his own. At the same time, though, he had his own agendas and how he did things, and he had his own, let's just say, groupies that he would actually have more respect for than he did of his real students, and that's a fact. And I was no groupie of his. I was an actual student. But at the same time, there was this one lady over at Barnes and Nobles many years ago in San Diego. Her name was Maria, and she actually was one of the channeler of Cryon, the magnetic service, one of the entities that Lee Carroll channels. Well, she was one of the primary ones, and she actually told me this one time. She said, "Look, young man, you are more powerful than this shaman. You don't need to be around him. You don't need to be with this guy. You are more powerful than him. All you need is the Creator. All you need is God to really guide you, or really be your main teacher." And I didn't really understand what she meant back then. That was my problem. My problem was I didn't see a lot of power within myself back in the day that I couldn't see what she saw. So one of the key things to avoid all this parasitic behavior in people is to start seeing the power and the value within yourself. You understand? So start seeing the value and the power and the connectedness with the Creator within yourself. And I didn't see that back then, so I couldn't. So of course I was blind to that. And so when I was blind to that, I was blind to various other teachers that I've actually ran into. One of them, of course, was the one that Rainbow described, the one that actually was our roommate. Yeah, she was kind of like a sister to me, and I met her, and I thought, and she was one of the people that came and changed my life. But I should have saw some signs that I did not see. And one of the key things that when Rainbow said that, oh, she's ugly, and then she went and told me about it, I didn't want to believe it at first. Why? Because I wanted what I wanted. I wanted to learn shamanism. I wanted to get some power and everything else for myself. So I wanted to make my dreams come true. It was my desires that blinded me from what was really going on. So you have to really be clear on your own desires as well. You understand? You have to be clear. So, and I wasn't clear. I just went for it. But it's a good thing. I mean, I'm not regretting it. I'm just letting you know that was my experience, and you just have to be aware of your own desires. And so at the same time, though, when this roommate went with a corrupt shaman from Mexico, yet she failed to go with this spirit interpreter slash medicine man by the name of the late Wallace Black Elk. Yes, I've actually met the man many years ago, and she was over the learning annex with him. And let's just put it this way: when she tried to talk with him, he looked down at her like he was disappointed in her. Yet, when I spoke to him, he praised me. If anything, I'm like, what? I was shocked that yet my teacher was being looked down upon by him, yet he praised me. And I was like, wow, I never experienced anything like that. So I should have saw some signs there about, the disrespect that she did with him many years ago, which I will go through more in the book. So, and there's other teachers that, had little issues with me rising up. See, when you start to rise up, like I said, they start to hold you back. They start to, try to control you in all ways, manipulative and everything like that. And you just have to really be strong within yourself and be guarded. Be a student, yes, but it's up to a teacher to teach what needs to be taught. But it's up to the student to know what's appropriate to take in and what's not appropriate to take in. So there were two other people that were jealous of my success to such a degree that their kids even looked up to me and started seeing me as some character in the Disney show. And I'm like, Disney show? What is this? And they started looking up to me more than looked up to their parents. And so their parents started getting jealous of not only myself, but also Rainbow as well. So we had to leave them and cut them off as well. And on top of that, one of them even tried to stop me from getting another let's see, how do I say this? Basically an attunement. Attunement means that you get initiated into some kind of a spiritual practice or a healing art. Well, he tried to stop me from getting the attunement, and let's just say the results on his side was not good. He wasn't successful, and if anything, he failed. And I was attuned by someone else that was actually good for me and was out for my best interest. So that was the case. And then, yeah, so one of the key things, like I said, is to know how powerful you are and know that you are connected with the force too. All you need to do is you just need to see these teachers as just people that can help you get some knowledge going. But overall, the real power is within yourself, and you just have to tap in within it. Now I'll explain more on that later on how you can do that. And of course I had financial, because I'm also went into the investment and business as well. And so on top of that, I had some mentors and other investors that were trying to teach me were only out for their best interest as well, unfortunately. And one of them was actually one that actually wanted to sleep with me, believe it or not. And Rainbow didn't like it. Matter of fact, it was the reason. Matter of fact, the reason why I left her and left her the business and took my money away from her was because she mistreated Rainbow. And so if she's going to mistreat Rainbow, then she's going to mistreat my money in general. So how you do anything is how you do everything. That's what T.R. Berker would say. So, anyways, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'll be right back with part 2 of this story. Thank you.